Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about Season 2 of Why Women Kill. Ooh, oh boy, you guys. Season 2 of Why Women Kill. I was anticipating and anxious for this season because I freaking loved Season 1, which, by the way, I do have a review of Season 1 up if you are interested in that. And yeah, before I do head into my thoughts and feelings on Season 2 of Why Women Kill, I'm going to definitely do my best to stay clear of spoilers. Some things I'm going to talk about in this review may sound just really vague and like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to be vague with reason, obviously, because I don't want to head into spoilers. Kind of the less you know that's going on in this show, the better, because there is seriously an insane amount of just plot threads just interweaved brilliantly over the course of these 10 episodes. It's simply insane. Because you start episode 1 thinking, okay, there's a million things going on here. How is all of this going to be wrapped up in 10 episodes? And somehow the show manages to do that. Because I thought the same thing about Season 1, because there was so much going on in that. Because for starters, you had 3 timeline scenarios, and multiple different characters going on, so that was a lot, even in Season 1. So yeah, I'm going to definitely try to steer clear of spoilers as best I can, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, because this season was amazing. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about spoilers with me, feel free to do so down below in the comments, because I would definitely love to have a conversation with you. And yeah, I love the season, but if you didn't love it, that's okay, because I would definitely love to know what you might have not liked about it as much. So I'm going to read off my quick plot synopsis about what Season 2 of Why Women Kill is about. And yeah, we're set in 1949, and we follow a middle-aged housewife who dreams of status and glamour, and all she wants is to gain entry into the local garden club. But yeah, a female rival and the secrets of her husband calls her to start turning into somebody she is not, and she will do anything to achieve her ambitions. Ooh. That's about as vague as I can get, you guys. So, how to compare this second season to Season 1, I guess? Which did I prefer? To be quite honest, I don't think I could pick a season that I preferred. I think for the first couple episodes of Season 2, I was kind of thinking, oh, I still prefer Season 1. But the more and more Season 2 was progressing and building, and by the time you get to that, just the climax of the season, it's like, okay, this show definitely, it can stand right up there to Season 1, I think. It's hard to compare Season 1 and Season 2, because even though they share very similar themes and concepts, they still both have that witty, quirky, dark comedy. They still are kind of doing their own things in some ways, and they're set during different times, have different characters, but yeah, the common core and thread is, as the title suggests, why women kill. What would make women kill, and there's always different reasons for that, of different events, different people in their lives that they interact with, different emotional things they're going through. And I think what this season was doing so brilliantly, because I think it takes a little while to kind of realize the thematic messages going on in this show. I think it takes a little while until you fully comprehend it, and it kind of just hits you and it clicks with you, especially as you get to those concluding moments by the end of episode 10 and whatnot. I think what this season in particular is really delving into, it has a lot to do with beauty and self-perception and the perception of others, obsession, jealousy, just image being key, image being everything, this whole notion of what is reality versus fantasy. And even though the show is set in 1949, what was so compelling is that the themes being presented in the show, and even the characters, even though it's 1949, the commentary is still so very relatable to modern day society. And not just modern day society. The themes going on have been going on since the dawn of time. essentially. You know, how we perceive beauty and ugliness and self-worth and the nature of obsession and jealousy, you know, all this stuff, ambition, you know, all of this stuff is stuff that's been going on since the dawn of time. But yeah, it's like you can definitely compare it and relate it, a lot of the stuff going on, to modern day society, especially with the selfie generation, if you will. People who are so obsessed with just taking picture after picture after picture of themselves and posting it and filtering it, you know, wanting people to see something that perhaps they're not really are, you know. And once again, going to the whole notion of fantasy versus reality, you know, and what people want you to see on the internet, and it may not in fact be the real them and whatnot. So yeah, this whole show, like I said, set in 1949, but you can relate it quite heavily to the selfie generation and to the generation of people so obsessed with social media and whatnot. And it's absolutely brilliant and clever, and I really love that. And like I said, I mean, you can definitely pick up on those nuances from the get-go in episode 1, but I mean, you really start feeling it quite heavy and strongly as you get to the middle and to the end, and it all just really clicks like, ah, okay, this is the commentary that this show is taking, and this is the story they're telling and why and whatnot. And once again, just another beautiful season from start to finish, like season 1 was. Everything was fantastic, from casting, writing, directing, sets, hair and makeup, just everything was kind of spot on and perfect, like season 1, I felt like, because I just did not have a single flaw to pick with season 1. I don't particularly have a flaw to pick with season 2 at all either. And once again, season 1, what I love so much about season 1, I just love that vibrancy and the color and the dark comedy. And yes, season 2 definitely has all of that. The colorfulness, the vibrancy, the dark comedy, you know, it's just all just brilliant and entertaining. Quirky and humorous, just bizarre at times. And I definitely want to head into some of the cast really quickly, because I can't just talk about the show and not talk about the cast and kind of go into some little things there, because season 1 had a terrific, stunning cast as well, and I was like, how is season 2 going to top that? And they managed to top it. Yeah, it does. It makes me excited because I'm hoping for a season 3. I definitely hope we get a season 3, because it's like, okay, who are they going to get for season 3? They got to top these first 2 seasons. I don't know how they're going to do it. But yeah, starting off with Alison Tolman, who plays our lead character, Alma Philcott. Alma Philcott, she is our middle-aged housewife. She's heavy set. She just kind of lives a very drab, mundane life in some ways, and all she's ever wanted in her life is to be noticed and respected and admired, and all she wants is to gain entry into this local garden club, you know, kind of just play with the elites of her town and whatnot. These beautiful, gorgeous women who seem to have it all, and she wants all of that as well. And we quickly know that Alma Philcott, she, like I said, because she is a heavy-set woman, and we know that she has body issues, and she has low self-esteem, and she kind of sees herself in a particular way, like she's a nobody, you know. And yeah, her whole life she's kind of been teased and bullied, perhaps, you know, because she is heavy set. And she kind of sees this garden club as a means of taking back some control of her life, you know, kind of getting back at the bullies, you know, like, hey, look at me, you know. It's all crazy, but it's like you get it. You understand where she's coming from mentally and emotionally, you know. And I think most women can kind of relate to where she's coming from, you know, at the start, especially at the start of the season, you know. Not so much the end, the way her character starts progressing to the end, it's like, wow, this is a complete just flip of her character, you know. And that's kind of the point of the show, is this complete flip she makes, because at the very beginning she is this kind of shy, timid woman who speaks low, you know, and by the end we do see an Alma Philcott who emerges as a very strong, powerful woman, very manipulative and ambitious and whatnot, and it's very interesting to see that progress from episode 1 to episode 10 and whatnot. And yeah, Alison Tolman, just all of the applause and praise for Alison Tolman, because she really just rolled with this character and took it in stride, just like it was easy peasy. And yeah, just really gives the character of Alma Philcott just such depth and nuance, which I appreciated, because even though there is this just insane flip from episode 1 to 10 with her character, it's like Alison Tolman still manages to make you, weirdly enough, sympathize with this character and understand her. You know, you may not agree with what she's doing and her methods, but you understand her. Moving on to our next main character, we have Alana Perea as Rita Castillo. Wow. I loved Rita, you guys. Rita might have easily been my favorite character this whole season. Oh, she was a straight out bitch, but I loved her. And once again, her story, as you get in her backstory, as her backstory is being filled in, and she kind of starts episode 1 a certain way, she ends episode 10 a certain way. It's kind of the nature of this whole entire season. Every character has a start point and an end point, and a kind of a complete flip in some ways. Just about every single character experiences this, which I loved. And yeah, Rita is no exception. She's a certain way that at the beginning, because she's Alma's rival. She's kind of like the president of the garden club, and Rita is everything that Alma is not. And you can see why Alma is just jealous and obsessed with this woman, you know, why she wants to be Rita and whatnot. Rita is just a truly terrific character. I enjoyed her immensely, and I think that's primarily because of Alana Perea, to be quite honest. I just can't imagine anybody else having played this character, because it's Alana Perea, her charm, you know, her natural charm, her natural charisma, her ability to kind of get you to kind of just be drawn to her, you know. Alana Perea is just amazing. I'm so glad to see her in something after Once Upon a Time, because she was one of my favorite characters in Once Upon a Time as well, so it was just amazing to see her in this role as well. Kind of, you know, a badass woman and whatnot, with full of power and control and whatnot. So yeah, if you loved her on Once Upon a Time, you're definitely going to love her on this, because her character is almost very similar to the Evil Queen in some ways. Next up, we have Nick Frost. You guys, freaking Nick Frost playing Bertram Philcott, the husband of Alma Philcott. When I first heard the casting for this show and Nick Frost popped up, I was like, are you kidding me, Nick Frost? British comedy icon Nick Frost, seriously? Wow. That just impressed me from the get-go there, because I freaking love Nick Frost, you guys. He's just been really kind of in a lot of great things recently that I've been enjoying. Like he was in The Nevers, for instance. He was in Into the Badlands, you know. He's just been popping up in all sorts of random things, and it's great. But yeah, Nick Frost is the husband. His character is the husband of Alma. And I tell you, there's so much to talk about Bertram, you guys, with this character. And the thing is, it's like you can't talk about anything, because the big plot points involving his character, it's the big cliffhanger, pretty much, of the first episode that really kind of sets the ball going with this show, and where this show is kind of going, and how things kind of start kind of flowing into each other, you know. His character is very important, very pivotal to a lot of the things kind of going on, and why certain things kind of happen. I just really loved Nick Frost's performance in this. The character of Bertram he's funny. He's a veterinarian. You know, he loves life. You know, he loves life, and he loves helping others in need and whatnot. And yeah, more than anything, he loves his family, he loves his wife, he loves his daughter, you know, he'll do anything for them. Even some pretty insane things as we get through the season, you know, he'll do some things for his family that perhaps he shouldn't do. But yeah, I just loved Nick Frost's performance in this. It was just, it's so great, you guys. I loved it. I wish I could talk about the character more, because seriously, there's some insane plot points that involve him that were terrific. Next up, B.K. Cannon as Dee Philcott, the daughter of Bertram and Alma. I love this performance by B.K. Cannon. If I'm not mistaken, because I want to say I got on her IMDb, I want to say this is pretty much one of her first big roles on her IMDb credits. I was just thoroughly impressed with this performance from B.K. Cannon. She's a young woman. She's also a heavy-set actress. She's a young woman. She's kind of like her mother almost. So she has her own kind of self-perception, her own low self-esteem in some way, and but she really grows over the course of this show into a very, very strong, powerful female character, which I appreciated. And yeah, really taking charge of her life and whatnot, and not letting others control her life for her. But yeah, I loved the role of Dee. Dee is the daughter. She has to go through a lot of shit in this season, you guys. There's a lot of shit she has to go through, a lot of unfortunate things, but it's like she still manages to come out on top by the end of the show. I feel like she comes out of the show as kind of one of the top characters that you're really rooting for and supporting and wanting to do the right thing and wanting all the best to happen with her. And yeah, I was just really thoroughly surprised and impressed with this character, because at first when you're kind of introduced to her, you just kind of think of her as being the daughter, you know. She just kind of comes across as the daughter character, but that, and I really love that. Next up, we have Jordan Christie as Vern Loomis. He is the private detective in this town, so you know where that's going. He's the private detective. You know that everybody, just about every damn character in this show is going to kind of interact with him at some point, for whatever reason. I just loved Jordan Christie as the private detective, you guys. He's a very, I guess, a righteous man. He's a very righteous man. He's a man determined to do the right thing, no matter the cost, no matter the risk. He's kind of like, he's one of the most pure characters, I feel like, because of his determination and how duty bound he is to do the right thing. It's like he's kind of one of the most pure characters, and I really love that about him. And yeah, he has interactions with every character at some point over the course of this show, which is very important. It makes him very integral to a lot of the big plot twists that start happening, and because he's kind of the one character who has to, all this miscellaneous stuff going on, he's the one character who has to realize eventually, okay, this is connecting to this is connecting to that, and here's the sole person kind of at the center of everything, So yeah, his role as a private detective in this whole story is very integral, very important. I absolutely loved and adored his relationship with Dee, you guys. That's a relationship that doesn't kind of get going and rolling until a little ways into the show, but it's one of the most important relationships, I feel like, in the show. And he was just a fantastic character, just marvelously portrayed by Jordan Christie. Just all the applause for him as well. Next up, Matthew Zadario, who plays a character named Scooter. And I was amused with the casting of Matthew Zadario, because once again, if you watch season 1, Alexandra Daddario was in season 1, and yeah, Alexandra Daddario and Matthew Zadario, they are siblings, they're brother and sister. So I was amused with that connection, that, two siblings were in season 1 and 2 like that. But yeah, Matthew Zadario as a character named Scooter. Scooter, oh boy. Scooter, I don't know what to think about Scooter, but it's like, I ultimately still liked his character, and I loved and appreciated his role in this. He's almost like the comedic relief in some ways. He's a little kind of dim and stupid. He's a little dim and stupid. He's an actor. He's a struggling actor. Let's put that out there. He's a struggling actor trying to make ends meet, and he has kind of this relationship with Dee on the side, but he's also like Rita's gigolo, you guys. He's like her male prostitute in some ways, and that's kind of how he's making money, is through Rita giving him money and paying for his room and board and feeding him, essentially. But poor Scooter, he's one of those characters. He is rather dim and stupid, but it's like you really do kind of appreciate his function in the show and what he serves. And yeah, Matthew Zadario, he kind of really goes all out with the acting. He's almost a little over the top with the acting, but I kind of like that, because if you've seen certain types of movies from maybe the late 40s and into the 50s and whatnot, he's really kind of mimicking, and I feel like, some of that over the top acting style, especially that you see in like comedy shows, I feel like. So I loved what Matthew Zadario was doing. He was just having a great time, and I adored him for that. And it was nice to see him in something else, because the last thing I saw him in was the Shadowhunters TV series, so it was nice to see him in something else, like an adult role instead of like a teenage role. And then we also have Veronica Falcone, who plays Catherine. Catherine is the daughter of Rita's husbands. So of course Catherine and Rita are often at odds with one another in this whole show. You know, who's taking care of, you know, because Rita wants to take care of her husband, maybe, and then Catherine wants to take care of her father, you know, but the two women are constantly at odds. They just hate each other's guts. And yeah, Veronica Falcone, I just really love this performance. Just this no-nonsense woman, you know, like, Rita, I know that you're just after my papa's funds and his money, you know, and this and that. And I just really appreciate the role of Catherine in this and where her story kind of went. And she was another character that I also had a lot of sympathy for. That was the weird thing about this show, is like, who are we supposed to be rooting for and who are we supposed to be rooting against? Because I feel like this set of characters, it's like you're kind of rooting for everybody in some sort of way. You know, there's really no clear hero and there's no clear villain, which I really appreciated about this show. Just about everybody is kind of in this kind of shade of gray, you know, like just any wrong thing can, or any right thing or any wrong thing can create a path of a character either going hero or going villain, and I really like that. And yeah, Catherine's kind of part of that too, like, you know, because she is at odds with Rita, and it's like, but I love Rita, but Rita is also like, you know, Alma's rival as well, and it's like, is Rita supposed to be a hero or a villain? And then yeah, in turn, but I still like Rita, but then yeah, Catherine don't like Rita, so yeah, it's a big complex mess, you guys, of all these characters and their relationships, and like, yeah, once again, who's the hero, who's the villain, you know, and everybody's kind of just a shady gray mess, which is great, if that makes sense. And then I do want to bring up Jack Davenport, who was our narrator in every episode. He pretty much would kind of narrate the beginning, maybe some things in the middle, and then he would narrate by the end. And yeah, if you watch season 1 of Why Women Kill, Jack Davenport was in the 1980s section with Lucy Liu. So I was just really amused with Jack Davenport lending his voice as the narrator. He has a great voice. He can read me the dictionary, and I would love it. So yeah, I just want to kind of shout out Jack Davenport really quickly as well, because he's not really a character, but he's the narrator. But I loved that role as well, because I think even in season 1, wasn't there a narrator in season 1? I'm trying to remember if there was a narrator in season 1, because he kind of serves that same thing too, you know, kind of setting up, you know, all the connections, you know, and the foreshadowing. I love how he would foreshadow things. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on season 2 of Why Women Kill. Seriously, I wish I can go into a lot more depth about this show, because there was a lot seriously really going on in this show, and it's kind of hard to sit here and review it, because it's like I want to go into spoilers, but I'm trying not to. Maybe I should have just done a spoiler review so I can get out on my feels, you guys. But yeah, I love this second season. I thought it was just as good as season 1, to be quite honest, and I'm very excited for season 3. I hope we get a season 3. So I'm very, very curious. You guys, did you watch season 2 of Why Women Kill? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And please, 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 if you want to talk about spoilers, do so in the comments with me, and I will gladly have a conversation with you. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.